And welcome back to Beer Culture Webshow. Beer Culture.
Yes, we are beer people.
We still have El Presidente with us, still hanging out.
I'm here.
And tell us what we're drinking here, this elixir of the gods.
This special,
glass.
yeah.
This is Surly Darkness, Russian Imperial Stout, 10-something%. It's brewed once a year. They have what's called Darkness Day, where you go and you pretty much wait in line. Sometimes overnight, it's a big event. There's bottle shares going on. They have bands playing. They have food there, but only once a year, available only at the brewery.
I wonder if it's polka. This is the Midwest.
What, the bands?
Yeah.
No, it's all like metal and black metal and all that kind of stuff. Because actually, Todd Haug, the brewmaster at Surly, is in a metal band called, I think, Power Madness?
That makes sense.
Power Mad.
If you see the artwork that's on a lot of the Surly bottles, it's not a surprise, actually.
Doesn't surprise me.
You'll see it, right there, But they have one called Pentagram. Come on.
Nice.
They have a beer called Hell Pentagram. It's so good. I'm going to shut up and drink it.
Yeah, I just keep wrapping my brain around the beer over and over and over. That really is an amazing beer.
Well, we could all talk about the flavors we try in it because there's quite a few. Coffee is a big one. I said to Trooper before.
Coffee.
Yeah, before if you ever had a coffee nip candy that you suck on there, it leaves that impression for me a lot, but it also has raisins.
I get molasses. I get raisins.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. It's just one of the best beers I've ever had.
It has almost like a cream to it too. It has just a really good mouth feel.
Yeah, it's a pleasure. You just want to sit there and smell it for a bit too.
And again, it's one of those beers we've talked about before that it's in that ABV range that it's just too smooth at that range.
Oh, yeah.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah, you don't taste any alcohol.
If you were at a bar,
it's like an after dinner beer.
Yeah, if people didn't know what they were serving you, they were like, "Oh, try this new beer we got. We'll bring you a big old pint of that." You could get ruined on that beer really fast.
Yeah.
Because it would just be delicious and going down like nothing, and then...
Well, I tell you, man, having these in the fridge, it's hard to not grab a bottle and just put one down every night. Cause, this, like I said, this is one of the best beers I've ever had. And for an Imperial Stout to be this amazing, and that bottle is only 3 months old.
Yeah, it's a baby.
Yeah, because a lot of people like to age stouts and see, how the flavors come out after a year or two. But this is just...
Well, 3 months in the bottle is probably at least 6 months from now.
Yeah.
Or maybe, who knows, actually.
But a
could
lot
be
of...
3 months. They could have a very, efficient program. But, this is obviously just... there's no heat in this whatsoever. Let's start there.
No.
It's sometimes you get, we talk about... some of them are higher ABVs, Black Tuesday and stuff. You get those right off the bat.
Oh,
it's
yeah.
hot
Those are
as
crazy.
fuck. There's a lot of alcohol.
Yeah,
flavor.
that kind of beer, that's a beer you really kind of have to let it, calm down a little bit for a year, maybe even 2 years, But at the same time, Chocolate Rain, which is Black Tuesday with cocoa nibs and vanilla added to it, that's better fresh. Yeah. So you get a lot more chocolate.
Right, because you lose some of those flavors when you use that one. Right.
Yeah.
We just had a couple aged at my house. We had a Norwald that was, I think, 3 years old. We had a Russian Imperial Stout, a Stone Russian Imperial Stout from 2011.
Those age really well.
Oh, so good.
About a year and a half ago, Dr. Bill from Stone broke out a 2004 Imperial Russian Stout.
Nice.
Was incredible.
Still
it aged
delicious.
so well.
Still delicious.
Oh, it was better than it ever was, dude. It was really, really good. I never would have thought that about it.
Reap that, all you wine drinkers. Right there.
Yeah.
We're talking aged beer that is amazing.
Oh, I remember we talked about Chris Anderson from CVB. He brought out 2 years ago. This was 2011, I think. He brought out one of the beers he worked on at Midnight Sun in Alaska called Arctic Devil.
Yeah.
That was aged in port barrels, and it was a 1998. It's one of the best beers I've ever had in my life.
Just smooth.
It's the top 3 best beers I've ever had in my life. That's one of them.
This right now is definitely...
This is quite good.
Way up there for me.
Yeah.
It's really getting that raisin now that it's kind of warming up a little bit. It's kind of getting that kind of raisiny...
The dark fruit.
Dark fruit, that dark fruit flavor.
just love everything about this beer.
Oh man.
There's a smell in there.
Right amount of sweetness too. Like there's just a little bit of that sweet, but it's not
Yeah.
not cloying. It doesn't
Exactly.
overwhelm your tongue.
This is
Like
a lot of what you were talking about on the other Surly episode, where, this beer is based almost entirely on malt profile.
oh yeah.
This is malts. This is
That-
just.
Though I'm sure there's a
sugars.
healthy amount of hops in this
Sure.
to balance it
Oh,
out.
yeah.
Like this
Yeah.
is really all about what the malt
Yeah,
can do.
they've
and like,
extracted
yeah.
everything out of that malt, and they've just put the right yeast in there, given the right amount of time. They brought so many flavors out without having to add any of those fruits.
Yeah,
All
this
those
guy,
fruits are there.
this guy is as technically sound as anybody out there. Like, and not just technically sound like a machine. Like he really can put a beer together and just make it taste good.
Yeah.
It just doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what style of beer
He's
it
a
is.
fucking
Yeah,
beer mad scientist.
Yeah.
He's making some beer.
that's one of my
Fucking
favorites.
amazing.
God.
beer.
That's so good.
There's gonna be a whole lot of spaces in this
Yeah.
episode. We're like, oh, I'm sure that's not as interesting. But
When you think about
that's what the
imperial
beer
stout,
tastes like.
I mean, when I think imperial stout, I always think kind of roasty, that roasty kind of bitter, strong bite. Sometimes it's smoothie, creamy, but there's some bitterness to it. There's a lot of roastiness to it. I don't think of this as an imperial stout.
Yeah.
I really don't. This to me is like
It's
a
more like
barley wine.
more like a port almost.
Yeah,
Like,
a
yeah, like
port
something
or
you would
barley
pour
wine.
a glass of after dinner.
It's sweet, it's tangy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of dark fruit flavors in there. There's just
Rich.
super complex. There's like, I know from the minute I start to the minute I finish this beer, if I take my time, it's going to change so many times. It's amazing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculously amazing.
Yeah, you want to talk about one you need to like let sort
Yeah.
of sit and warm a little bit.
Yeah, because it only gets better.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
only
just,
gets better.
it's almost getting like a little bit of a, I want to say like a spice note to it right now. Like there's like a little bit of tang to it. Not really spice, but like a tang.
Yeah, I get a little bit of that.
Like a little tang flavor as it's warming up. Man, again, this is the second time during this or short time doing this show where we have stopped all the bullshit and just started talking about a beer and like stayed on the point.
Yeah.
Like this beer, and the other one was
You
La
have,
Cumbra.
you have me on the
The-
sour
yeah.
episode. That's gonna happen a lot, actually. Like sours are really
Yeah.
what get me. Like
No,
I'll
I'm
just sit
telling
there
you,
and go,
the IPA
The
From
Project Dank.
Project Dank,
That's what it was,
and
yeah.
I was so excited to be able to use the word dank in an episode like
Yeah.
this beer is dank. Like
yeah.
you know, that beer was on point, and it started out very cedar cigar box piney smelling, and that kind of faded real quick, and it just got down to those heavier fruit notes once it warmed up.
Yeah.
It was amazing, really a top 5 IPAs. I've
Well,
ever had.
La Cumbre is a brewery a lot of people probably haven't been able to even to hear about
Oh, yeah.
yet because it's in New Mexico, and they're not getting a lot of distribution, I'd imagine. But they're that guy. That's another guy that really knows what he's doing. I haven't had a bad
Yeah,
beer
he's
from him either.
technically
Yeah.
just
Didn't
producing-
Jose say that he's more of a lager guy than an ale guy?
Yeah, he said that about the guy that brews for La Cumbre. He goes, "This guy's really a lager guy." I'm
don't
like, and he
think I've
brewed
had a
this
lager
fucking
from them.
beer?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean,
oh my god.
Not sure I've had a lager from them yet.
Well, all I know is that IPA is the most balanced, over-the-top, hoppy, piney, crazy IPA I've ever had. It was delicious. And
It's
that right there,
excellent.
to me, is not Russian Imperial Stout. That's like barley wine-ish, but amazing. Just really, really, really amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing color, perfect place on the SRM scale. Just had to throw that in for him.
Yeah. What is that on the SRM scale?
Black.
You can't see who's that
Son
shit.
of a
Black.
bitch.
Black ass beer. So good though. I can see a little sun right on the edge right there.
Yeah, I'm
Like,
colorblind. Yeah, that's black.
Yeah.
like,
One cool thing about this beer is every year when they release it, they pick a different artist and they do different
Really?
bottle art for it. Yeah. So every year,
That's pretty
it's always they've done zombies, they've done a vampire, they've done a werewolf. Every year it's different.
Nice.
They pick a different. I don't know if they pick a local artist. I would imagine they're local
Yeah.
to Shirley where they're at, but like I said, every year is different.
One year they should just do kittens. Fuck everyone up.
Well, they
Darkness.
you say
they
kids?
they
I
have
drink that beer.
they have an IPA.
Little kids playing darkness.
They released an IPA a few months back called the Overrated West Coast IPA. It was kind of not really a dig, but just kind of more like a here's
It's
our
a dig,
take on
except that they brew West Coast
yeah,
IPAs all
on
the time.
a West Coast style IPA, and their original bottle can art they wanted for it was like rainbows and like My Little Pony kind of artwork, and they got shut down on that.
From the ABC.
Yeah. So
This is one thing that maybe not everyone knows, because they don't have to worry about it, is that the ABC has to approve all the labeling also for all the bottles that go out.
With one label, you're like,
I
can see that.
despise the
And
fucking
then with
ABC.
another label, you're like, how did that even get through?
Yeah.
And that is Founders.
It depends on who's on.
No,
Breakfast
Founders
Stout?
Breakfast Stout with the little baby with the bowl. Like,
Because I think it's a state by state thing. It probably also depends on who that comes in front
it's
of.
It's a baby eating out of a bowl on a beer label. Like, how did that get through?
Yeah. Well, I was reading when the government shutdown happened a couple of months back, there were quite a few breweries that had labels in for approval.
Yeah.
They were trying to release the beer, and they couldn't because the government was shut down. It wasn't approving their labels. Yeah. So they had this beer that they were ready to release and put on shelves, but they had to wait because.
Yeah, I mean, I mentioned in the last episode that I did that America is one of the best places for craft beer in the world, and it's where we can really be America still, and where it's growing and it's exploding and it's creative and the whole thing. We're still working against the backward ass prohibition stuff.
Yeah.
ABC is still kind of pushing against everything, and there's just all these ridiculous prohibition era laws that are still trying to be repealed, and we just came across it in this state.
Well, there's still states where you can't buy, depending on the county you live in, you can't buy beer at all, or you can't buy beer on Sundays, or like my wife's parents, they live in Texas in a dry county.
That's all from a temperance movement bullshit that started the prohibition.
So you have to drive. I mean, it's not very far to get to the next county, but you have to drive 10, 15 minutes down the street to be able to buy a beer, because you can't buy it where you live because it's a dry county.
Wow.
Yeah. I remember that from the people who tell you freedom and freedom for businesses and all of that stuff are the first ones to go, oh, well, this is the dry county. You can't do it. Yeah. Full of shit.
A dry county in the United States of America.
That's or ones that where you can't sell more than 3.5% unless it's in a special
that
thing.
I've heard before, and I know that's still happening where there's counties and states, whatever, where they're just starting to release.
Yeah, if you go Utah, it's still it.
Yeah.
If you buy it there, it's 3.5. They could, but there's a few breweries there that I love. Uinta is an amazing brewery out of Utah. But they brew their real shit and send it out of state.
Well, it's
top notch. Horrible.
Ohio has an ABV cap on beer at 12%.
Okay.
But you can buy spirits and wine all day long. So what is the fucking difference? Why does my beer have to be limited to 12%?
Texas.
And I can go buy 40% vodka or whiskey.
If I'm not mistaken, this is still a Texas thing where if it's above, I think it's 5%. It might be a little maybe 5.5. It's an ale, and if it's below, it's a lager. It has nothing to do with the fucking classification of an actual beer. But that's how they do it.
Now there's some people that wrote a law that know nothing about beer.
Yes.
They know nothing about beer.
I think, if I remember right, in California, it's anything over 3.99%. Can't say beer on it. It has to say alcoholic beverage or contains alcohol or something like that. It can't say beer. It can say ale. It can say stout, porter.
I just want to find the twits that make that up.
Yeah.
And they're probably not alive still, obviously.
These are 100-year-old laws that don't make any sense anymore.
Make no sense.
Yeah. I mean, because you can buy, here in California, we can buy beers that are upwards of 20%. Yeah. So what does it matter what it says on the label?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
it's funny a lot of these laws have given way because, like I said before, the craft brewing industry is one of the few things America has that is actually growing.
Yeah.
And it's changing a lot of those laws.
It won't stop growing.
This industry is changing a lot of those laws.
It has to, because that's
people are
ultimately
fighting,
where the money is.
And that's why now it's legal to homebrew in every state, and because people fought against that.
Yeah. It's sad that that was everything. Of course, there were people brewing things and
Oh yeah.
distilling things on their own anyway.
Yeah.
But it's much better just to be able to, I
To
thought
do
this was America. That's the only response I have to people like, I thought this was America. I mean, I'm fine with regulations, but ones that don't make any damn sense,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and
Old fucking horse law.
and whoever went to jail for homebrewing beer. I mean, that's the thing is the laws
Just
is there.
people
But
that-
You get on the
got
trade
20s.
sites. You get on
Yeah.
the trade sites. There's so many people who are like, I don't want to get arrested for shipping beer. I'm like, shut the fuck up
Then
and
don't
shipping
fucking
beer, pussy.
don't use the post office. Yeah.
I used the post office for so long. I used
all you
the
have to
post
do
office
is,
forever.
somebody told me once
So
that
much
all you have to
cheaper.
label it as is the yeast sample.
I labeled it all as jelly. It all said jelly, and I make amazing jelly. By the way.
KY.
Yeah, I must
No.
say you do.
Pepper jelly.
I know, I've had some of yours
Habanero Gold.
before,
That shit
yeah.
was on point.
Yeah.
I labeled everything as jelly. I shipped it as jelly forever.
I remember
and
I
it
had
worked
some.
like a champ.
Did you use some habanero jelly once?
Oh, yeah,
that was
habanero gold.
badass, dude.
It is
yeah.
badass.
I've
I
got
love
some in the
that jelly.
fridge, man.
It's on
good
point.
stuff.
Yeah. I fucking shipped that. I shipped so much beer using United States Postal Service. I don't care. Whatever. And it worked.
I even if it was legal or were legal, whatever the correct terminology is there,
Sort
I
of
wouldn't
both,
use it
I mean.
because they're so fucking unreliable. It's like their tracking system sucks. It's like
That's
with
what stopped me.
FedEx, I can see where my package is at
Yes.
pretty much at any time
Yeah.
after
Yeah.
I drop
And
it
that's
off.
the only thing that stopped me. It was so much cheaper. It was more affordable. All the beer made it there, and then I lost one package, and I was like, no.
Yeah.
Because I can't go to them and be like, hey, you lost this. And it was like,
So remember,
50
kids.
bucks, you know.
Remember, kids, use FedEx for all of your illegal
Yes.
shipping
Yes.
needs.
Right.
When
Well,
you're shipping illegally, use FedEx.
Well, I guess it is still technically illegal to ship beer across state lines.
Yes.
But just don't tell them this beer.
Yeast sample.
Yeah.
That's it. Label it as yeast sample. You're good.
Something.
Yeah, every time a beer crosses a state line, it's violating some fucking tax law.
But all that stuff is like raising revenue.
But at the same time,
That's what a lot of laws in general are, like a lot of the bullshit laws.
But is
raising
it
revenue.
still illegal if there's no money changing hands because you're not selling it across state lines?
No, but not for you, for the government. Raising revenue, like if you get fucked, you get a fine or whatever it is. That's all it is. Like that's all like bullshit stop signs or like in your place you have there's a roundabout
With fucking
with
stop
4
signs,
stop signs.
yeah.
Like it completely negates the whole
Yeah.
idea of a roundabout.
Yeah.
I run it every time on
Oh yeah, so
principle.
do I. So do I. And that's the
There's certain things like
It's on principle.
yeah. So what we're saying is civil disobedience is a good
Yeah.
thing sometimes.
Back to the beer.
Darkness.
So,
Charlie Murphy.
I don't know what that
Darkness. Oh, it's from Dave
yeah.
Chappelle, man.
The darkness has warmed up, and I'm telling you, there's like a spice note to it now.
God.
There's like a crazy.
It's like having dessert before dinner. I haven't had dinner yet, and this is literally like having a liquid piece of like rum cake or like something
Yeah.
like something just rich and flavorful.
Well, I have to say, first off, yes, that was one of the best beers I've ever had. I have to say, second, that me and El Presidente won and lost at the same time because we're out of beer.
How many ones got left?
I know.
He's the smartest one, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it was getting better, but it tasted
Yeah,
so good.
the-
I had to take down the rest of my glass.
Yeah. And in the end, it's so there's a little bit of an alcohol note in the end,
Just a tiny bit.
a
It's
tiny
not-
bit,
yeah,
but
I
a little heat. You talk about?
Yeah, but like heat, like
A little bit.
extreme heat in a beer sometimes will go up into your nose.
Yeah, not like
Yeah.
that. Just to back the throat a little bit, But man, that's a great beer. Like whoever's brewing that beer should have like 5 girlfriends because he can make that beer. It should be like
Well,
you
let's
should be able to
let's
date.
not wish that curse upon him.
Yeah.
Oh man! Yeah, because careful what you wish for. Man. You just might get it, so you never know.
Yeah.
I've been married so long, I forget how tough it is to date a girl anymore. I just
Yeah,
think chicks are awesome.
married, single.
I just think it's cool that chicks are
Both those.
awesome because my chick's awesome, and I
Yeah.
get that, right? Was I going for points right there? Maybe a little bit.
Sometimes they're crazy,
She's
beautiful,
crazy,
but
yeah.
crazy.
Are you talking about my wife?
No, I'm talking about.
No, he's
she's
not
all
talking
that.
about your wife at all.
Because she's crazy and awesome and beautiful.
Well, you're crazy as shit too. So
Yeah.
Well, thank you, sir. I'll take that as a compliment, El Presidente. Maybe she's crazy because of fucking being with me for 26 years.
that
So they
makes
do.
sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bada boom.
Yeah.
But that beer is worth another fucking 2 episodes. That's a really amazing beer.
It's really great.
Well
Yes, it
done,
is.
young man. Beautiful. Boom. And that's the
Yeah.
thing you bring to the show that I love. You bring the unique, the rare, the hard to find.
Well, I mean, like I said before, is I hear about a beer that sounds excellent, and I don't want to just hear about it. I want to try it. So I do what I got to do to, whether it's trading or finding it online or
Yeah.
whatever I got to do to get that beer in my fridge and on my counter here. And this is one of them where it took some trading. It took me giving up some good beer, but I got a decent amount of bottles to last me a little while.
Yeah.
So I'm doing all right.
Enough for more than just an episode. So that's good.
Oh yeah.
If you could see his fridge, have you ever taken a shot of
Oh,
his
yeah.
fridge?
Yeah.
Well, he won't let me do that. He doesn't want anybody to know. He's like 007 with that shit. He doesn't want anybody to see any pictures.
That's
of it.
X-rated. It's
Yeah,
like
but
He'll
see,
let
like
him
that.
see
That's
that.
like a teaser right there, and that's
he'll let him see that.
That
on
fridge is like
camera.
porn.
and that's
This
more
is-
than
this is
more than
like
what most
porn.
people have in their
It's
fridge
like
right
Skinamax.
This is like foreplay. That's hardcore. You can't show the hardcore shit.
there. Right.
It's awesome. Well, I appreciate you being on the show.
Thank you, guys.
We'll have
Thanks
you
for
out
joining us,
there
man.
for sure. Absolutely. Maybe we'll come out and do a podcast with you guys. Something we
Be
can
my
just sit
pleasure.
there for an hour and talk shit and drink a ton of beer.
Yeah, that's what we
Just
do.
down with that.
Yep.
Then we're good for that. We can do that. We do that anyway.
Now we can.
It translates.
Yeah.
You guys, we'll see you on another episode of the Beer Culture Web Show.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers.